Hey everyone, this is PsychoDad and welcome to my second tutorial video on creating animations in Dreams. After I uploaded my first video, I realized there were some things I could have and should have explained a bit better for people that are struggling with creating animations themselves. I'm going off script again, so sorry for if anything is unclear or not really explained that well. If you have comments, just leave them in the comment section. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section. And let's get to it. You see the animation running. It's a test animation that I created to try and work with slow motion and different camera angles during the animation. So I'll be going over that as well in this video. Here we have the animation. We're gonna stop it. Timeline. Once again, I want to urge people to watch all the tutorials on how to create animations, especially the ones with the keyframes, timeline and the keyframes, because that's how I personally like to create my animations for now, at least, and not record anything by possession. And that's mainly because I just want to have animations the exact way I want them to have, and for that you need to go like a stop motion kind of way, the way you go about it. Anyway, we open the timeline. I'm just gonna give a few tips and pointers in this video. I'm not gonna be, like I said at the beginning, I'm not gonna create new body poses for the animation. I can show what kind of motions I have, because if you want your animation to run smoothly, you need to have a lot of body poses, which should mainly be key motions in the animation. Like, for example, this moment, it's a tornado kick where you turn your body 360 degrees, like twice 360 degrees during the animation. And for the jump, you have moments where the body gains momentum, like if he steps in and he pushes himself off the ground like this. This is the kind of body pose that you want for your animation. It's details like this that will make or break the animation. They're gonna give the natural feel to the animation, because there are some people that apparently were impressed with the natural feel of my animations, and it's because of these details. So try to aim for that when you create your animation. Here you have this way. If you go through the cycle through the keyframes, you can have a stop motion effect, and you can already see your animation play out for a bit, and it will already give you a rough idea of how you want to your animation to run, and at what speed. Maybe this is the kind of effect you want your video to have, and then you can just recreate the same flow of the animation with your keyframes. But I didn't. I just want a smooth running animation, so I adjusted it. What I do when I go and when I adjust the animation, and when I work on my playback, I just move the timeline in such a way that I can also see the animation running. So here I can just go into the menu and change anything and immediately see it, see how it plays out, what effect it has in real time. And that's also like a small pro tip I want to give to people, because it'll make things easier when working on the playback. Here you have, like I said in my previous video, the blend types. Ease both if you want animations and just run it smoothly and flow into each other. But I figured I don't have it in this video, but let's say you wanna have run an animation where there is a slight build up in the momentum. Like if you have a character, I create kung fu videos, action videos. So let's say your character throws a punch. Yes, there's a build up when you throw a punch. If you want the build up in that in emotion, you should use like ease in. It start like it says, so it's starting slowly and then speeding up. That's a base principle for throwing a punch, throwing a kick, or a headbutt, or whatever. That's it. If you have thrown a punch or you've thrown a kick and you want your character to pull his leg back and his arm back real naturally, in a natural way. Sorry about that. In a natural way. Then you use like an ease out. Yeah, and then you have a quick start. Animation start quickly and slow down. Yeah, it's the same like the muscle tension that you use for throwing a punch. Ease in when you throw the punch, ease out when you pull back. So those are things that you should take into consideration when applying blend types in your animation. The strength of the effect, just try it out for yourself and see what effect it has for this video. I have it set to 50. I didn't really adjust anything very detailed because it was just a test animation and I wanted to focus more on the slow motion effect and the camera transitions, which I'll get into in a bit. And here's a slow power up and a slow power down. You can also adjust it just like the strength of the transition types, and just mix and match. And like I said, the best way is to have your timeline in such a way that you can see both the timeline and the animation, so you can immediately see the effect of any settings you have and just change, adjust everything in real time. Sorry, just wanted to recalibrate my imp. Yeah. Okay, so that's how I start working on the animation myself. If you want to have a specific part that you want to work on, it's easier to just trim the playback. Yeah, so you have this part. Let's say I have problem with this part. I'm just gonna select this part of the animation and have it loop so I can focus on that specific part. As you can see, because it's so short, it's gonna move real quick. Just head into the menu of the timeline. By any menu that you want to get into, you access by holding L1 and square button. Go here and adjust playback speed. Just like 26%, and then you have a slower movement, and it makes it a bit easier to see the animation run out and adjust it accordingly. and when you're happy with the result, then just move it back to the speed you want. Well, it doesn't matter because it's just for explanation right now. Yeah, if you want to select a different part, then move the sliders again, and it'll loop, the part that you want. It doesn't really matter how long it is, depends on what you're working on. For those that don't know and didn't watch the tutorials or whatever, in the timeline here is the playback mode too. You can find it over here. You can have playback, just play once, or have it sustain, so it stays in the same place. That I never use it. I just loop it, so the animation keeps looping. The part that I have running, it will loop and indefinitely, which I think is more convenient, especially when you want to work on the playback. Slow motion effect. For the slow motion effect, it's really simple to add a slow motion effect, and you just pick a keyframe that you want, and the closer you put it next to the previous one, the faster. Like here, it's the kick. You see it run real fast, and if I put it further away, it's gonna slow down the animation, and that's how you create slow motion effect. You can also adjust the duration of the pose. Here I wanted a bit of hang time and like a matrix effect. For those that have seen the movie The Matrix, with the kick of I don't know, Trinity, the Trinity kick, the famous kick. Yeah, so you have a slow motion kick and a bit of hang time, and the camera moves, and the animation proceeds. It's the same here. That's why I adjusted the keyframe. I made it a bit longer, so you have hang time. And the longer you make the keyframe, the longer the model keeps the body pose, and obviously the shorter it is, the faster it just rolls. As you can see now, it just continues in one motion. I didn't want that for this. I wanted a bit of hang time. So how you do it? You just make it smaller or longer, extend it, and then you can have the the motion you want. Okay, so well, that's basically the basics. A bit more advanced, maybe slightly less basic explanation for working with keyframes and working on your playback. Then you can also add cameras if you want for your animation. For that you just go to gadgets, cameras, pick a camera, place it, go inside the camera to so you can adjust it. Let's say I want to put it here. Yeah, I go out, go into the menu of the camera. I don't want people playing, because I wanted, like, if you want to have a cutscene or whatever, just a video that people can watch and not play. You can go to this tab in the menu. It's for the imp, and just disable controller sensor input and hide the imp, so people can't use the imp during the animation. Add black bars if you want. I like them when I make to have like a cutscene or movie effect, but you can also not use it. Anyway, once you have completed your camera or the settings for your camera, you can just copy it and drag it to the timeline to implement it, and there you just like it works exactly like the keyframes. Yeah, you just position them the way you want. Once you've done that, you can just match them with the corresponding keyframes. This camera is camera 1, camera 2, there's one in the back, 3 and 4, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, back to 1. So let's say I have camera 1, it runs until this part of the animation. After that I wanted to transition to the next camera for the slow motion effect, for the matrix effect, let's call it like that. And then I go all the way back, like make a circle with the camera, and this is how I went about it. Drag every camera inside it, matched the duration of the camera with the keyframes, and every time I've done that and I want to see how the camera works during the animation, I go into test mode, and here I can see it running. And just like with keyframes, you can edit everything, durations, what type of transition you want between cameras, how long the transition should take, and you can do it like keyframes. I've already said it a couple of times right now. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make was I'm going to use play mode, test mode a lot, and switch back and forth between editing and test mode, editing, test mode, and just try and figure out the timing for the camera shifts until you have the effect, the result that you're content with. And that's basically it. That's probably everything I wanted to tell you in this video. So yeah, I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or feedback, put them in the comments. Like if you like, dislike if you don't. And yeah, there's a lot of trial and error. Like I said in my previous video, a lot of trial and error and figuring out and making mistakes and doing them over, and sometimes you just have to scrap your animation, start all over again. It happens. Just don't give up. That's probably the most important thing to do. Just don't give up, and realize that the more natural you want your animation to run, the more detailed you want it to be, the more keyframes you're gonna be using, and the more detailed it becomes, the more complicated it is going to be. And it's gonna take a lot of time to have your animation running. And for a simple video like this, like it's only a couple of seconds, but it can take a couple of hours to get it right, and that's gonna take a lot of patience. So don't give up. I hope my video was helpful, and good luck, and maybe I'll see you in the next video. Peace.